the 10 most reliable pieces of gear that I used in 2025. Easy for me to pick these because I used them a lot throughout the entire year. Most of these came out this year. First, we got to talk about the Orbit Key Pro leather organizer from Orbit Key. They definitely redid their organizer. They added this quick flip tool. So now you can access your most used tool by just quickly flipping this tool right here. And then you can quickly, so this thing is almost all, you keep it vertically up, you flip it up, the one that you need, and you're good to go. So I normally keep my tonneau cover key there. Also, they've made this a toolless change for your tools to get the keys out. So you can now unscrew, mail in on the spring mechanism, and you can access your keys without having to get a slotted screwdriver or a quarter. Makes life just that much easier. I like that a lot. And I like the fact you can get about 6 to 9 standard keys in here. I will say if you don't carry at least 4 keys, 5 keys, this thing really won't work for you. So you may want to look for some other options, maybe buy key bar. And it's premium leather, premium parts. They have a lot of different options and build quality of this. I can imagine now that they've came out with the pro version, they're going to come out with some, like, I don't know, maybe some micarta versions or canvas to get the price down a little bit. I mean, this is not very expensive at about $65 full price, but I can imagine they come out with some more budget options sooner than later. I think it looks really good. Has this little D ring at the end so you can connect your larger keys or key fobs or whatever you have on there as well. Buck came out the gate swinging this year at SHOT Show 2025 when they introduced the Ranger Elite and the Ranger Pro series. Depending on which one you get, they both still feel premium. This one is the Elite series with the aluminum scales, Magna Cut blade steel, and the Boss heat treat. But it's just the features of this knife, very well done. Super slim. Built, I mean, the aluminum feels good. The ramp on the studs feel good. The crossbar lock is well done. When I say the crossbar lock is well done on this knife, I mean the crossbar lock is well done on this knife. So it's easy to use whether you want to spidey flick it, if you want to use your thumb, if you want to walk it open, it does not matter. This is one of the easiest crossbars and most usable crossbar locks I've used in a very long time. And I'm talking about over the likes of Kaiser and Benchmade, et cetera, et cetera. Easy to use with gloves on. The aluminum scales make it feel premium, super lightweight to even be over a 3-inch knife, because it is about a 3.4-inch knife with this satin finish. Magna Cut blade means that you sharpen it less often. Boss heat treat means it's even tougher than some other uses of the Magna Cut. A lot of companies are starting to get Magna Cut, but heat treat is starting to become more and more important as more and more companies get access to Magna Cut. How well does it do? And I like the fact it's Buck, made in USA. If I had to go with one premium knife that I got this year, it will be this Buck. And I got a lot. I give you some, a couple of like honorable mentions towards the end here. Make sure you stick towards the end to see some honorable mentions. Number 3 has to be the Ekster Card Holder Pro. This is an aluminum with forged carbon fiber. It looks really, really good. Premium leather on that little band. This is an actual area where you can keep cash. Very in the back right here, you can expand. I have their tracker card that you can get, and it works on the Find My app. What you can do is this thing can hold up to 14 cards. So 1 to 14 cards inside the main holder portion. As you can see, they made this button even better, easy to get your cards to. But if you need more than 14 cards, you can actually expand and put more cards behind this little plate right here. The reason they have this plate is to make it RFID on the outside. The whole wallet is RFID blocking technology, but if you keep cards on the outside, this is the RFID blocking technology plate. Plus, it keeps people from reading any information on those cards. That's why they put this on the outside. Still very slim, very easy to carry. Subtle branding on this. I think they did a really good job with this. And the thing I like about this is that although last year I think my favorite wallet had to be hands down probably the Proof wallet, this one here, I like the warranty that you're getting a little bit longer in the tooth, as in Ekster's been around a little bit longer, even though I like Proof. They were, came up by a couple of Marines. This one's still very, very good. And I like the functionality of it. So if Unlike other companies that have this clicker button that have copied Ekster over the years, you can literally put one card in here. There are other, even the older version of this. If you only carried one card, oh, the cards are flying out. Not in not in this version. Okay, the cards are staying in here, and I like that. This next one's a sleeper pick. This just came out about 2 months ago. I do think this is one of my most functional flashlights. Has one of the crappiest batteries, but I don't care. Built to be shaped like a carpenter's pencil, this is the Streamlight Wedge SL, standing for slim. 100 lumens out the box. It can do 500 lumens in the throw mode. I've only done 500 lumens just to see what it would look like. I don't want to use this in 500 lumens. This thing here has 100 lumens, 300 candela. It is the perfect light for working DIY stuff. Okay, it has this bite cap right here, which allows for you to keep this thing in your mouth. And when I say this bite cap lets you keep this thing in your mouth, I don't know if it comes with it. Streamlight did send this out to me, and the bite cap was in a separate box. So when I list this down below, and also the links down below will probably be affiliate links. If I see a separate listing for the bite cap, I'll list it, but I think it comes in the box. But this makes it so literally it's like you have a third set of hands. And I've had other flashlight with bite caps from other brands. This one's one of the best well done. It's great to keep in your shirt pocket if you do that. It's good to keep in a tool pouch or whatever. USB-C port on the side. And the thing is, it has no hot spots. Very clean light, just easy to use type of light. So you don't have to worry about it just shining too much in one particular area. So I like that a lot. Just a very clean LED. And this thing here is literally, I've kept this thing in my mouth for upwards of 20, 25 minutes. The other day, I was just changing out an exhaust fan in our powder room. And I literally was using both my hands. You know, I'm mounting the holder for the exhaust fan. I'm trying to wire, do the wiring for the new exhaust fan. I need both my hands for that crap. This thing come in handy to keep this in the mouth and just leave it good to go. So I think that was a sleeper pick. One of the easiest, one of the most reliable things. For me also, much more reliable than any smartwatch. Today's video sponsor, which is Vaer, and their watch brand overall. I got to talk to you guys about the C3 Korean Field Solar Watch. This is a 36 millimeter USA assembled watch. And the thing I like about this bad boy is that this watch was worn by Americans during the Korean War. Well, this watch pays homage to those troops that wore these type of watches during the Korean War. 36 millimeters, I think, is really good for someone that has smaller wrists. I have 7.5-inch wrists, and I still think it looks good on mine. I love the black, and then it has the bronze, the lockdown screw down crown, the sapphire crystal glass. When you're working on stuff, your DIY mode, like I was the other day with that exhaust fan, a real watch, much more handy than a smartwatch. It doesn't die. I literally was working on that exhaust fan until about 01 in the morning. I woke up that day at like 05. It's a slim likelihood a smartwatch would have still been working for me throughout the entire day. I've gotten a ton of compliments, not only in videos, but in public. Was at a cheer event the other day. Folks asked me what type of watch that was. I think it has an incredible lume, great value, USA assembled, and they have a great warranty as well. If you like watches that pay homage, especially to our troops of the past, you're really going to like this Vaer C3 Korean Field Solar Watch. The solar part means 6 hours of sunlight will get you 6 months of reserve time. So this, you don't have to worry about constantly remembering to charge the battery inside this, because the sun is going to do it for you, or even artificial light that simulates the sun will do it for you. Check the links down below. Vaer is having some good deals right now for their holidays. Shout out to Vaer for sponsoring today's video. Easy recommendation because I use them all the time. Now, the MoonDrop Space Travel 2s. These are $29 hi-fi, noise canceling, low latency earbuds. A mouthful, but they have so many features for like 29 bucks. It's pretty ridiculous. I'm gonna tell you the most ridiculous thing about them that I don't like. This is how they come. No top, no cap. Okay. So if you want to use these, you're gonna want to buy this case. This is $7. But if you primarily keep these like in the cab of your truck or something like that, you're not always carrying them around, then maybe you do want to just rock them naked, okay? But all in, I spent about $38 to get this set up. I use these all the time. Do they sound as good as my Sony? No, they don't. My Sony's cost me $299 brand new. Do they sound as good as my Google Pixel Buds? No, they do not. My Google's cost me $200 brand new. These things cost 29 bucks. For $29, they're a great value. I think they look really good. And they do have the stem that kind of goes in the ear, but it still feels and works really well. I mean, they have just really good uh, sound that kind of escapes you from the world. I got noise canceling on. Let me turn it off because I can barely hear myself now. And so turning off noise canceling is very easy. The touch controls are very easily. And the biggest thing about these is they're using Bluetooth 6.0, meaning you can get further away from your device, which I do all the time, and it can get through different barriers such as brick walls, drywall, even working while I'm upstairs inside my house. These are pretty strong, easy value. This next one was very difficult to make the final choice on, but I had to go with the Nitecore EDC17 for my wallet that was most often used in my pocket this year. And it was between this and the Olight Arc Pro. The reason that I went with the EDC17 of the Olight Arc Pro is because of weight and how fast you can put this flashlight in action. First off, the Olight comes in at about 4.16 ounces overall, whereas the Nitecore comes in at 3.7 ounces. It actually feels completely different in the pocket. But the biggest thing is when you're pulling this out of your pocket to use, I literally pull this out of my pocket, boom, just like that. I'm using it, it's turned on, it's in action. When you're trying to figure out if that is chocolate or poop on a kiddo's leg, if you're trying to figure out if that's a bug that you just saw crawl between a couch cushion or was it a crumb, a flashlight you turn on quickly is actually very effective. So this was a easy winner for me. Unlike another recent release that they had, the Nitecore EDC09, this is probably Nitecore's first miss, and I'm going to tell you in a separate video why I would not choose this flashlight, but only under one condition. But when it comes to this everyday carry 17, easy recommendation, just like the Nitecore. The Olight does have a few things on it. It has a magnetic base, and at the end of the day, it has a hat clip, if that matters to you. I don't care about that. I rarely wear hats. I might wear them like once a week. So that's going to be something that you have to think about. Them. The Montana Knife Company Mini Wargo. Great knife. Super small, super slim, Magna Cut blade that's coated. It's a great actual everyday carry knife when it comes to its sizing. You can easily wear this in a pair of trousers, pants, sweats, or whatever. It comes with a great Kydex sheath and Alti clip. It's actually high value because of how well their Alti clips are done and how well the knife and the heat treat are done. They will sharpen this for you for life. Great G10 scales. This is just one of those great everyday carry type of smaller knives you can use for self-defense purposes, but you can also use to simply open your packages or to begin the processing a kill that you just did during your winter time. So probably my most carried fixed blade, and I got a lot of fixies. If I was not carrying a folder or if I was carrying a multi-tool, this would probably be the fixed blade that would go along with that multi-tool. Speaking of multi-tools, we got to go with the most, I would say, my most reliable multi-tool this year, beyond the Leatherman Surge, has to be the Leatherman Arc Talos. I don't have the Talos, I have the Obsidian. No need for me to buy the Talos just to show you in a video. It was hard to choose between this and the Leatherman Wave Alpha. Leatherman Wave Alpha doesn't have the value. It just doesn't. For me personally, I think these are too close in price, and therefore it's too easy to recommend the Arc, especially the Talos, to release earlier this year. The Talos has a different type of coating on it. This multi-tool, both have Magna Cut blades, which are probably going to be the biggest reasons that you want to get either one of these is to get the Magna Cut blade, because why the hell would you even spend the money when you can get so many similarly priced multi-tools in the market, even get you like a $35 mossy oak. You get this because you don't carry a pocket knife, you want the Magna Cut. However, here's the thing. This arc up here is $199, this is $249. It just makes more sense to get the arc. You're gonna get with the arc a strike surface, which you don't get on either the Surge or the Wave Alpha, and you get access to every single tool except for the pliers while the tool is closed, and you get the free technology. It comes in handy so much, the free technology, when you have your hand on something, going back to that example I have with me changing out that exhaust system, taking the old one out, these had construction size staples. I've never seen staples this big. This had to be from some type of construction gun I don't own. Huge staples that were holding down the actual wiring inside the walls of my house. Being able to quickly pull out with one hand while holding the wires in one hand to pull out something like this, the pliers, to be able to pull that out the wall, because I didn't want to use my knife and bend my knife. I want to use some pliers or a pry bar. A lot easier to get to that stuff with this tool versus having to use another tool. So quickly being able to access every single tool one-handed is an easy recommend for me, the Leatherman Arc Talos. And then I gotta tell you, finally, it has to be the Sharge Mag, the IceMag 3. This is the world's first 25 watt Qi 2 wireless charger with active cooling. And the active cooling is important because a lot of wireless chargers nowadays are giving you 15 watts. Some of them are doing 25 watts, but they get hot and they have to back themselves down because they don't have active cooling. This does have that. And when you actually put this on, immediately what it does is it turns on, but they've quieted the fan down because in version 2, the fan was pretty freaking loud. They quieted the fan down. They made it a little bit more translucent. But the biggest thing is that they made the kickstand fatter. The old kickstand almost made no sense because it was kind of hard to use. They made this thing a little bit smaller, and they made a built-in USB-C cord, which is actually doubles as a grab handle. So you can use this as a carry handle, but you can also take this and use this to charge USB-C devices. So I can take this if I want to go even faster. I can plug it directly into my phone. Now my phone is fast charging at 35 watts, which this thing can now output 35 watts, and it can input 35 watts while it's charging another device. So technically, this thing can charge 3 devices at the same time. You can use the MagSafe on a device, the built-in charger, and then you can output with the USB-C port, which makes this a triple threat. Very good product by Sharge. A definite improvement over version 2 of this same exact charger. I gave version 2 away to a buddy. He likes it a lot, but I think they made a lot of great improvements with this. Now, some honorable mentions. If you want to see some honorable mentions, stick around for that. A couple of them I 100% use very often, but I wouldn't say we're kind of end all be alls for me. First off, the CRKT Choloto. Great OTF knife, but the OTF knife just wasn't very practical to carry every single day. I think that if this is all that you had, this may not come in handy in some situations because there are times when you're carrying a pocket knife that you want to get up on the spine of the knife for whatever reason. If you're cutting something a certain way or whatever, you do want to be able to put your finger on the spine of a knife. Whether it's utility cuts, you can't really do that with this. You're really going to have to just rely on putting your hand on the scales a certain way, but just a fantastic knife. Next, we got to talk about the Phoenix TK20R V2. Now, this is a great flashlight. I liked it because it has a tactical switch and a functional switch in the back. It has 3,000 lumens, great beam distance. What I really like about it is it's just a very subtle improvement on the PD36R Pro, which I carry for a long time. I love that it has a little bit more output. It has a cleaner beam distance. It didn't make my top 10 because I primarily use this when I ruck at night. And I don't ruck every day. Most of the stuff I showed you here gets used multiple times, like a day. This one might get used only a few times a week. It was hard for me with the knife category because at SHOT Show this year, Benchmade also introduced in their catalog the Mini Adira and the Adira. And I did end up picking up the Mini Adira and I got it with the partial serrations, which is fantastic for cutting fibrous materials, which I've been doing a lot with this. The only reason I couldn't put this in is because for value purpose wise, this mini Adira, I ended up getting it on sale on base tax free for $161. That was a good deal. But its normal price is just not a good value. It's their Grivery scales, which is proprietary to them, but it's just not the same premium feel as the aluminum. Both of these are Magna Cut. It does come with a noose down there, which is great to be able to grab it a little bit more, but just paying that additional money, it was hard for me to make it my most reliable pick. If I wouldn't have got this, like literally for the price I think it should be, which is about, because of the scales, about 160 bucks, I wouldn't own this. So that's just it was a harder thing for me to kind of coordinate and navigate through. I didn't talk about the Lockme Mini Field Journal. I like this a lot, but this primarily gets used on weekdays to journal and write with, and something that, although I use this a ton, I use it in conjunction with my cell phone. So I say my most reliable piece of gear. I use it, but if I had to skip a couple of days and not use this in my phone only, I will get through that with no issues whatsoever. Then the Nitecore EDC17, the fantastic flashlight. Biggest thing I have with this is that you can't use the flashlight at all in lockout mode. There are other Nitecore flashlights in lockout mode. I could at least use the turbo. This one, you don't get anything. You don't get turbo, you don't get anything. And this is really a flashlight that needs to come out of your bag or a pouch. It's too big to really carry in your pocket, but it's a great light nonetheless if you want to turn night into day. And then my final kind of like save round pick is probably going to have to be the X-Lock version from Chavez, their first crossbar lock. They did a good job with this. Aluminum scales, D2. They did a really good job for this to be the first crossbar. I just personally think that the pricing, there are competitors that are just a little bit more value. But I do like what they did here. I think that is a very good first addition to this category of knife for them. They've done a lot of, I think, frame locks, and they do liner locks and stuff like that. So for them to come out the gate with this crossbar for the first time and to keep it under 100 bucks is good. But there are going to be stuff coming in from like Kaiser, especially their Vaer series, which is just going to be more value than you're going to get out of this. But I still liked it nonetheless. So many things to choose from this year, wallets, and I didn't even mention my most used bags and pouches because there are a ton of those as well. I might have to do a separate video on that. But what was your most reliable piece of kit for this year in 2025? I'm going to also have to come out with my duds for the year, but I've also given away a lot of my duds. That might be harder to do, but hey, first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.